Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we've just had a hotfix on the test server for the Temporal Rift. Now, if you saw the Temporal Rift when it came out, the rewards were massively reduced. Now, with AFK Arena, I never get into making videos complaining about stuff like that. The community is pretty good at putting feedback in, so I was waiting to see what they did. I had a feeling they were going to adjust some stuff, so now it's here and I wanted to go through it. Now, when we look at this stuff, on the surface, it still may look like we're getting boned, but I think when you consider it, we're actually in a pretty decent position. I'll explain what I'm looking at. You guys let me know if I'm right or wrong when we get through it all. But essentially, I think it's actually not too bad, the rework they've done. When you weigh in everything and you add up all the calculations, which I've done a few of, I've still got to go a bit deeper into it. But in general, like I said, they gave us this hotfix, the patch notes, and basically just saying they're increasing all the rewards, and that's basically the gist. So let's go through it because I'll show you what they actually are instead of reading patch notes. All right, so the shop, we do have Awakened Solace and Awakened Taline in the shop now, I don't know why they're not glowing. Forgot to add the glow effect, I guess. Then the shop, I think, is fairly similar to what it used to be. In general, I can't remember exactly what it used to be, but in general, I think that's where it was pre-hotfix. So let's jump into the next thing, which is the Temporal Rift rewards, which is the big one we want to look at. I'm not actually going to go through it here because I've already collected some rewards. I'll go through this little sheet that I've got over here in a second, which is this one here, and we'll compare the rewards so you guys can check that out. But essentially, yes, they buffed the rewards a lot from before the hotfix. Then we got the leaderboard rewards. The thing to note about these leaderboard rewards is that you get them twice through the period. So me in the top 3%, I'll essentially be getting an extra 4,000 of these coins, which brings me to 10,000 income on those coins. So that's pretty much the changes that we're looking at. Now, like I said, I want to bounce over into this this little sheet that I made, comparing the old rewards to the pre-hotfix to the post-hotfix. So if we look pre-hotfix to post-hotfix, it's night and day. We have got massively buffed rewards. When we look at old rewards versus post hotfix, the one thing I want you to take with a grain of salt is I can't remember, but in the last, with these old rewards, when we had 800 floors, I think I got to floor 400 or something like that. I can't remember the reward distribution, but I definitely was not getting all of these rewards. Now, I don't know how difficult this is going to be. Over here on the current run through, I'm onto floor 81. And I'm kind of struggling a little bit. With some play, I'll be able to get to it. And then I've actually got to get all the way to 200. So, we wait for AFK. Oh no, we got to get to 240 to get all the rewards essentially. So I'm curious to see how hard this one's going to be and how far I can make it. If I can make it all the way in this one compared to where I was making it in the previous one, these rewards are actually going to be better for me, if that makes sense. So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure on how far you're going to be able to clear compared to what you used to clear. But with that out of the way, let's look through just what we get in comparison. Now, the biggest thing that I noticed is the massive loss on cores. This one was giving us, we used to get 3,600 if you cleared it all. Now you're getting 400. Now, unfortunately, I can't remember what's in all the chests, so I'm going to ignore the chests for now. I know it's bad, but I should have looked into it. I apologize. But the two things you really notice are losing the cores and losing the 40 time gazers. Now, the thing with the cores is if we look at the shop, I just did the math, I'm just going to read it to you. But essentially from the shop, you can actually pick up 2,450 cores for 9,485 of this currency, which I would personally be able to do. If I didn't want to get anything else, I could get that many cores. Plus I'll get about, I think it was 400 or something from the other rewards. So that would bring me up to about an extra 2,800. That would bring me to 3,250 on the cores, which means it's not as big of a loss, but it's still a loss. And if I do that, I won't be getting the time gazers as well. So there is some losses in that, definitely. Moving on from that, we don't get the stargazers either. So it's sort of like they're giving you everything over here, and now you got to kind of pick and choose what you want to get from the store, is what I'm feeling at the moment. The one thing I will mention though is over in the old rewards, I'm sorry if you can hear the kids, they just got home and they're going nuts. My son's playing his Beyblades. I can hear it just I demolish him at Beyblades. But anyway, that's beside the point. we do get a lot of juice here. We get the 4,500 juice, whereas we used to get none. So that is a positive. We don't get any hero summoning stones in this where we used to. We lose out on about 40 normal scrolls, but we gain 28 faction scrolls. And we lose out on experience. We lose out on a bit of dust, and we lose out on we gain in gold. So comparatively, and also the signature item stones, we lose out on 200 of those for both purple and gold. So comparatively, it's still a bit of a loss. But like I said, it depends on how far we can get in. If this rift is easier than the previous one, and I can get all of these, then it's probably going to be more than I was actually getting back in this one. I can't remember. I'll have to look through, see if I can find out exactly where I was at. But that's the one thing I wanted to look at, is I wouldn't just look at these side by side and say that's it. If you're a Giga Whale and you were clearing everything, then yes, that's fair. Go nuts. Like I feel like Giga Whales are losing out on a bit of income. And the big one being those cores, because like basically every character you go to build, we are getting an increase in shards though, a little increase in shards. Oh, and we're also getting baits. I forgot to mention that we're getting baits, but it's only 600, which is, maybe you get one beast. So, and we're getting Poe coins. I forgot to mention that as well. We're getting 14k Poe coins. So they're sort of redistributing the allocations. The thing for me with this is that, like I was trying to say before, every character feels like they need their 60 engraving. So engraving is like the real crunch point. So I don't know. In general, I feel like they've balanced it out pretty well. I am not angry about this at all. I think it's pretty balanced, pretty cool. The rift at the moment, as it is up until floor 80 for me, has been a lot easier and like less complicated than previous ones. It's a lot cruisier, which I do like. So in general, I think this is a pretty good balance. You let me know if I'm wrong or I'm right. I'll look into it more over the time. I haven't talked to anyone yet. I like talking to people normally before I make a call on things. So I'm still, on the fence, but in general, I think it's not a bad update. Definitely night and day between pre-hotfix and post-hotfix. And I think it's a bit more balanced, and I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, you get a bunch of Poe coins, a bunch of juice. You've got some gains and some losses, and I think it kind of balances out. If you wanted to like value everything in gems and go for it that way, I'll let someone else do it and give me the results, and I'll pass it on. But that is pretty much where we're at. It was a bit of a ramble session. I do apologize for the ramble session, but I just wanted to compare it. But like I said, there was a lot of outrage in the community with the pre-hotfix rewards, and I completely understand why, but I think this definitely alleviates a lot of that. And even if it is a little bit worse off, I feel like it's more the whales, the big endgame players getting punished by this, whereas the early gamers, not too bad, because if you can still get all the rewards and you can Awaken Hero, nice. But like I said, it's literally, for me, it's all hinging on how hard this rift is and how far I can get into it, compared to how far I could get into the 800 floor one. So yeah, I'll shut up now. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.